Well, it's been a while. We're trying to move back our show here. Welcome to another edition of a Taco Thursday. We're doing short versions temporarily now until we get fully back in. Hopefully, we'll be fully back in June. On there, we sorry for the hiccups, but we're trying to fix everything up. A lot of things happen, but we're glad we're back, and we're glad that you clicked on this video. Now, a lot of things has happened since we gone, but we're not going to go back a little bit on that. We're going to go forward with what's going on right now. And what's going on right now is basically Russia's at it again, and this is censorship to the point. For those of you who don't understand what's going on, is that you have other countries that are pushing these laws, trying to get rid of anime, calling it pornography to the point, or trying to blame it for basically how can I put it, basically the mental instability of certain people, self-deletion. There are other problems that people need to resolve, but you need to stop blaming it on entertainment, books, music. It's not their fault to that nature. But we're going to start off immediately with this. And this is out of Nichi Gamer. Russia announced plans to ban anime figurines.
I'm here! No! No! You maniac! You blew her up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell!
A new report's made the rounds that Russia is moving to ban the sale of anime figures in the country. We already know Australia tried doing this once. The new ban follows a series of speeches by Russian media figures warned about dangerous psychological impact that watching anime can have on the minds of children. This is a lie. I'm going to tell you straight out, there is no reports. These are people who have generated, how do they call it? They've taken scientific results and picked and choose certain lines from it and claiming, yes, it is a problem. Citing concerns over their potential psychological impact on children and possibly violation of child protections and obscenity laws. See what he says? Obscenity. This step is part of the country's broader crackdown on media content it considers harmful to minors, the outlet said. Under laws like federal law number 436 FZ, which focuses on shielding children from disturbing or inappropriate material and provisions in the Russian criminal code. The latest crackdown on anime is merely a ramping up of extreme hostility to art and free speech with Russia. Earlier this year, Russia convicted a 19-year-old poet for writing an anti-war poem. You see where we're going to. She was sentenced to nearly 3 years in a penal colony for a poem. Even darker, a child and her parents were arrested for putting flowers at a memorial to protest the war in Ukraine. The Russia attack on anime also mirrors several Republican bills in America that also seek to criminalize the viewing or owning of anime. We've been covering the proposed Goblin Slayer ban in Texas. The bill has been opposed by Democrats and not been passed in the Texas House of Representatives, as well as Senator Mike Lee's proposal ban on any anime with sexual themes at the federal level. We do have a video out on that as well on Men with the Show, so do check that out. The recent war on anime began when Moms for Liberty had recently supported several bills banning LGBT books in school, turning their sights on Manga. Now, the manga that they're talking about is Assassination Classroom. To that point, because basically you had, and it's a mother who protested on it because she didn't understand. She says, "Well, teenagers wouldn't understand it." It's a comedy and a good drama about an alien type creature who's going to destroy the world, and the kids are there to save the world, but he wants to teach them, and teach them he shall. And the thing about it is, he's a good teacher, and he likes, he cares for his students. But see, the problem is, people don't, they think that basically anime and manga is all porn. It's all super violent. They banned Death Note and Tokyo Ghoul in Russia. Okay, those are a little bit harsh. I wouldn't recommend it for kids. It's Ghoul is a little scary for kids, but teens I could see on that. Same thing with Death Note, but they happen to be two very good animes. They said, well, the guy self-deleted because he was a fan of Death Note because the character in Death Note wears a suit. Really? Is that how you're basing it? Is that really, truly how you're basing the fact that the person self-deleted himself, and not that maybe he might have had some mental issues, some sadness, and that's the only thing that kept him happy? You ever think of that? And that at one point it wasn't making him happy anymore? Think about that for a minute. I mean, this isn't, the anime industry in the West, this is this point that, even those who work in the industry, we already know this, and we have an article on this out as well, that basically there are those who work there that still think anime is porn. And they work in the industry. They see the anime. They work on the anime, and they think it's pornography. See, this is why, with the obscenity laws that they're trying to pass here, this is the danger to that point. And basically, you look to the perspective that you have someone saying, well, just because someone shows their butt, it's porno. It's a butt, R-rated. Death Note would be considered, I would consider it R-rated. Tokyo Ghoul, R-rated as well. High School DxD, R-rated. I would consider those R-rated. What's the difference between that? And let me tell you something. There's some really, really horror movies that come out of Russia, China, and Asia that are, they're not banning those. They're not banning those. Those are like, more realistic than cartoons. But yet they're okay with that. See the hypocrisy to the situation. Eventually they'll go after it. It's like the same thing with the Goblin Slayer. What's the problem with Goblin Slayer? Episode 1 is the problem with Goblin Slayer, where the goblins were sexually assaulting one of the characters on there. But you didn't get it really the way you would think, like in a regular movie. Miss 45, which was out of Hollywood. Last House on the Left, I think, is another one. You go down tons of movies from all over the world that would have certain subject matters that you would find in anime as well. See, the thing is that they see it as a cartoon. And you think all cartoons are for just children. Understand this. Animation is a way of telling a story. That's what they don't understand. You can have a G-rated story that's animated, and you can have an R-rated story that's animated. What do you call heavy metal? What do you call Fritz the Cat? And many others. What would you call them? Not all of them are for kids. What would you call, what's the other series? Big Mouth, Netflix's, which is going into its last season. What would you call that? For kids? I don't think so. But they have no problem with those. Not at all. See, it's all political, ladies and gentlemen. This is all political that's going on with this subject matter that happens. And it's going to continue. It is going to continue. I mean, it is a shocking matter. It is a shocking matter. And I said before, there are those in the anime production world and the Hollywood end that still thinks it's porn. You didn't hear about this? Well, I'm going to read this other half of this. It's from Otaku USA magazine. Adult producers say some people in Hollywood think all anime is porn. Even as anime gets more popular, anime is very popular right now, otaku sometimes still have to deal with people's inaccurate perceptions on the medium. Producer and executive Marisa Balkus, whose background includes working at Crunchyroll and Netflix, gives a long talk about her career and the anime industry, part of a talk that includes misperceptions some people in Hollywood still have on anime. And that's a video that's out on YouTube right now. It's called the Story Series number 9 that she's on. It's a 2-hour one if you want to go check it out. I'll leave the link below. While Hollywood is getting more and more into making anime adaptations, they see that the money can be made if they do it right. The adaptations don't always thrill fans, and sometimes it can be an issue that people behind the adaptations don't really understand anime or why it's so popular. It's easy. It's simple. It's a story. That's all it is. It's a good story. It's a well-written story. So during his the Story Series podcast, host Brandon Violet asked, do you feel like there's common misconceptions in Hollywood about anime or that genre of animation? Balke's answer, I think so, yeah. I think there is some generations within our industry that view anime as pornography or something weird, which is really unfortunate. Or there are people who just associate themselves with shonen anime and whatever's coming out of Shonen Jump and nothing else, which is really unfortunate because obviously there is every medium under the sun that anime offers. Like I've said this before. Yeah, I think those are the biggest misconceptions, or that anyone that pertains to what women want to watch or consume has to involve in magical girls in some way. It's a click. As Balkus points out, anime offers a wide variety of genres. Some anime titles are pornographic, but the majority are not. I'm going to read that again. As Balkus points out, anime offers a wide variety of genres. Some anime titles are pornographic, but the majority are not. Likewise, there's a lot more shonen anime and magical girl anime out there. Are there any misconceptions about anime you had to deal with? Well, we've had before. This is something to that point. And this is what the problem is. And this is why you can't with live action adaptations is very difficult. And I say stay away from live action adaptations unless you truly understand the product. I mean, it's not hard to read the manga or watch the anime. It's not and that's the problem in Hollywood. I'll give you a perfect example. Why haven't we had a proper adaptation of Alien versus Predator? Because they haven't really read the comics or the novels. There's tons, because they say, well, there's not enough information out there on it. Sure there is. You refuse to read it. You refuse to sit down, open a book, and read. That is the problem. The education standards that we have in Hollywood. Everything is all political. A lot of these kids that go through college and all that, and if they want to get into animation, gaming, Hollywood, they're not learning properly. One thing I always recommend, if you want to get into the entertainment business, go out there, find independent producers. Like, people work on YouTube. Work with them for a while. Learn the trade. See, I learned my trade. I learned it on public access when I was in high school. That's where I got my start in broadcasting. I was in freshman year, and I was invited by a sophomore at that time. A buddy of mine's named David Shifter, and Marcelo Romero. Marcelo, if you're out there, give us a call. We haven't heard from you in decades. They took us in, and we, some of us, and we worked on their show. We had fun. We built it up. We met people. We met celebrities. We went to on location stuff. We were taught things. There were some good days and some bad days. And all in all, if I go back, would I do it again? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was a fun time. I miss it. I really, truly miss it. That's what I'm trying to build here. I'm trying to build that magic, try to bring that magic back to Cudicast TV, what we had before. Hopefully I'll be able to build it that way, that it would work, because it worked before. It was very simple. It wasn't difficult to do. You were able to, to that point. And that's the same thing with anime, and manga and stuff like that. It can be done. These studios, these Japanese studios are looking to move in. I know, is it Toho? It's working with J-Kids now here. They're trying to get a foothold to move away from Crunchyroll. It's going to happen eventually. That's going to occur. Crunchyroll is a problem. The reason is that they still have the hierarchy from Funimation still within their company, because it's Sony. Because this is the thought pattern they have. Look right now. Here's the situation. If you, it's anime, of course, obviously, on all these services now, which is High Dive, Crunchy. Pluto is running a ton of anime. Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, many others you could catch it over on Pluto right now this month, and they're flipping and changing a lot of it constantly. They already have a couple of channels, but they're adding a couple of extra channels for the month of May, and I think they're going to go beyond that. Anime is popular for a good reason, not for the sex, not for the TNA and all this situation. It is for the good story. I bought Redo the Healer on DVD, on Blu-ray. Why? Because it's a good story. Yes, there's sex involved. There's sexual assault and stuff like that. But it's the story itself that puts it to that point. Same thing with Interspecies Reviewers on there as well. It is it's a comedy. It's really good. You have to understand that to that point. But you also put to this perspective. When you talk anime, most people look at Bleach, okay? Dragon Ball. Right now, Solo Leveling is super hot right now. Really super hot right now. 100 Girlfriends. We can go down the line of many other. Some of the classics that have returned. Rama Half, which was decent. Even though they did make some changes to it, which I didn't like. But still, it was okay, and the animation was good on there. There are some others that are scattered throughout all the services. Farming in Another Life. How can you put to the point and call it pornography of a guy farming? Do you understand? That he's farming. You got anime right now where people are cooking. Cooking is pornography? See, this is the problem that there is out there. They don't sit and watch. They just basically sit back, armchair quarterbacks, and they hear that saying, "Oh, it has this in there," but don't even watch it at all. Or they'll watch read a chapter, or watch the first episode. They'll watch the first episode of Goblin Slayer and condemn the entire series. If you're a parent and your kid is watching some of this stuff, sit and watch it with him. Find out why he likes it. It ain't for the sex. It ain't for the fan on there. It's basically, like, for example, Solo Leveling. The action. Yeah, it's bloody. I wouldn't let a little kid watch that below, say, age 12. I wouldn't let anyone below age 12 to watch it. It's pretty ultra violent. But the thing about it is, it's a good story, good action, good animation on there. It's well done, good music. It has all the premise of what you would do go to see a blockbuster movie. Yeah, that's it. To that point. I mean, you go back, Ghost in the Shell, fantastic movie. Akira, fantastic movie. We go to the TV series, Star Blazers. Remember Star Blazers? Those of you old enough to know, great series. Has been made a couple of times. Macross, which Disney bought into and is airing the older Japanese stuff, which hasn't aired in the U.S. And parts of it has been edited down, which is a shame. Go out and buy it when they release it on Blu-ray. Speaking of coming out with Blu-ray, we're waiting for Dirty Pair to come out, the remastered stuff. They're still working on that as well. I mean, there's plenty. A Ninja Scroll, fantastic movie. Yeah, it does have sex in it. There is a sexual assault in the movie, but it's a great story. Some great action, animated very well. There's another one that has many animators that have done many things throughout the years. Robot Carnival, which has several shorts. If you haven't seen that yet, or you want to get it on DVD, in fact, that's on my order list. Go out and grab it. It's beautifully done. If you're familiar with the animation works for Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and many others, catch Robot Carnival. It showcased many different animators. And basically, it's a lot of fun. It's beautifully done. This is not something that, there's sex involved or anything of that nature. It is art. And that's what all this anime is. It's art. Look at the background. If you watch Akira, the background to the foreground on there and how it's done. Look at the way in Ghost in the Shell, the same situation. Background to foreground on there. Some of that animation they don't do anymore. They've changed up. It's like 2D, a mix of 2D, 3D now these days. Which there's nothing wrong with that if it's executed properly. Mushoku Tensei, another great anime out there. And I can go down the list of every anime that's out. And the thing about it is, look how much comes out on a constant basis. I'm way behind on my anime. I'm still in the latter half of the winter going into the spring. I'm still going. I mean, some of the main ones I'm caught up to, but some of the secondaries I'm still working on. I am still working on that. But it's a shame when you have stuff like this that's going on a constant basis. That you look to the perspective that there are people out there that don't like the anime and they work in the industry because it's production. If you don't like the anime, don't work for an anime company. We don't need you there to, fuck up everything. We need people in there to do their job right. If you have to, doing subtitles, proper subtitling, proper English dub, and, that's what you got to do. And, people said, well, we don't need them in English dub. And I said, okay, I do watch it in subtitle. But once in a while, I do like to sit back, let it run in the background with an English dub. I like that every once in a while. And then many other shorts, movies, anime, manga, however you want to put it to the perspective in all genres that are out there. You like sports? You got sports. You like cooking? There's cooking. If you want, and there are ladies out there that wants this, that they have guy on guy, that type of romance type situation. Those are available. Yaoi and I forgot what the other one, because they have the one with girl on girl. Boy on boy, girl on girl. And it's nothing to do with sex. It has to do with romance, sort of soap opera-ish to that point. And those are popular. Those are very, very popular. And they say, well, it's all, disgusting because it's guys that watch this all. It ain't only guys. Many women do watch, anime and read manga. And remember, some of them are content creators. You can go check it out there. There's a lot of them on there. In fact, I'm trying to remember some of them on there. But yeah, they're out there. You can look it up. Try to one of the next times we do the show, we'll throw a couple of names at you on there. But what I need you to do now is to comment. I really do appreciate that you tuned in to Otaku Thursday. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Really important to subscribe. We want you to comment and let us know what you think of what's going on in Russia, what you think is going on in the anime world as far as the censorship, and also that people think that basically all anime is porn. It's not. It's not. So remember, comment, like, share, subscribe, and we really thank you for you guys tuning in. We'll let you know when the next show will be coming up on there. This is a short version of it, but we needed to talk about this. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. Check out all of our other videos on Man with the Show here on CutieCast TV, and we'll try to catch you next time on Otaku Thursday, here 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on CutieCast TV, on Rumble and on YouTube.
Thanks for watching, commenting, and sharing this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe as this helps the reach of this channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help support this channel as new internet laws around the world will diminish our reach and affect our sponsors. If you choose to help, there are two ways, listed in the description below. The first link will lead you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will lead you to our gear shop where you can buy shirts, mugs, and other gear. Discounts will be listed on the site. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.